will be active tonight. He tore his quad in Game 2 of the first round, was expected to miss the remainder of the postseason, but Steve Kerr's big man has gotten the green light.
Do you have any sense like what his workload might be for tonight?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to tell you. I feel bad for him. I'm happy that he's back, but I feel badly for him because, you know, you want to be in the finals. You want to be in the best shape and on top of your game that you can possibly be. And, you know, it's so that, you know, life doesn't work that way. It's not always perfect.
SportsCenter on the Road is presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. And look at the beautiful skyline downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Let me tell you something. These fans here are real deal. Out for breakfast this morning at 8 a.m. and they were lined up throughout the city. This is the line heading into Jurassic Park right outside of the arena here. Thousands on hand for this as, of course, the Raptors making history. Finally here as they began the franchise in 1995. Took a little bit, but I think they'd all say it was worth the wait, especially the way they have done it. As Stephen A. Smith joins me live here now, and I'm proud of you, Stephen A., because you seem happy to be here. Customs, passports.
Well, I must say, the folks in Customs in Toronto were very, very good to me. You know, I don't appreciate you bragging about the fact that you had breakfast early this morning when some of us have got to work that early.
Oh,
but that's a different subject. That's a different subject altogether, though. It's a different subject altogether.
You know what my dad would say? That sounds like a personal problem.
Something like that.
We'll work on that later. Okay.
Yes.
No surprise here about Kevin Durant not being able to play. I mean, the young man is still limping. He's not even walking 100% yet. But the news is very good concerning DeMarcus Cousins. How should Steve Kerr use him in Game 1 tonight?
Well, first of all, you want to sit there. You want to have a big body. The more bodies that you have, the more depth that you have. So that's incredibly important, particularly for the Golden State Warriors when you're missing KD, because one individual is not going to make up for the excellence that he brings to the table. Number two, you got a guy like a Marc Gasol. You got a guy like a Serge Ibaka. If you're a big man that has the ability to pull the opposition away from the basket so you can open up the interior, that definitely bodes well for the Golden State Warriors because it doesn't restrict them to strictly being perimeter shooters. If Steph Curry and Klay Thompson can get to the hole and you don't have to worry about one of those big bodies waiting for you, that's definitely a plus. So I think those are the two elements in which Boogie Cousins definitely helps the team. He's averaged 16 and 8 with the 30 games that he played on 48% shooting. Only 27% was from three-point range, but he's still a threat. Yep. Everybody knows that. And having him on the floor, it's definitely an upgrade from Andrew Bogut.
14 games missed this postseason after this injury, but more importantly is that it's been a 6-week span. That's a long time in basketball time. That's why Steve Kerr has to be very careful in how he uses him. But once again, 9 seasons in the NBA, his first trip to the postseason. DeMarcus Cousins hoping to get in tonight. We'll see how that plays out. Meantime, of course, the Raptors here in the finals for the very first time. Masai Ujiri, the GM of this team, smart, looking brilliant right now because Kawhi Leonard in that trade, it was tough to say goodbye to DeMar DeRozan. Kawhi's here. He's taking them to this level. What do we expect from Kawhi?
Well, first of all, let's be clear. DeMar DeRozan was going anyway. Masai was going to move him. It's just that he lucked up by getting the movement for Kawhi Leonard. Having said all of that, Kawhi Leonard has firmly established himself as one of the elite players in the game. Some would say top 5. Others would say top 3. You're listening to my man, Max Kellerman. Number 1, Doc Rivers told me he didn't say that he was Michael Jordan, but he said that his style of play, how he goes about doing what he do, is comparable to that because like Michael Jordan, he was a big guy. Even though you might beat him to his spots, he could still move you out of the way. Mid-range game, long-range game, post-game, he's the total package, and the Golden State Warriors is going to have to be ready for him.
The 2014 NBA Finals MVP and, of course, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi Leonard. I can't wait to see how he plays defense against this team. We saw what he did against Giannis. This is going to be a great one tonight, Game 1. This man, again, no sympathy, but he's just getting going. The SportsCenter special begins top of the hour here on ESPN.
I'm ready.
You love it.
I'm ready.
You know you love it. According to Caesars Sportsbook, Stephen A., the odds makers are listing the home team Raptors as 1-point favorites. However, the Warriors, minus 310 to win it all. So
I'll go with that.
You're going to go with that. 20th consecutive series, Golden State enters as the favorite, by far the longest streak by a team over the last 30 years.
Raptors need to win Game 1 more so than the Warriors do.
Agree with that. Stephen A., thank you, sir. Look forward to tonight at 7 o'clock.
Alrighty.
By the way, Stephen Curry back for the 5th straight year, and he has caught fire at the best possible time. Doris Burke joins me in just a couple minutes to explain how he's doing it and also to talk more about Kawhi, the new hero here in Toronto as one head coach.
4 hours after a young girl was struck by a foul ball hit by the Cubs' Albert Almora Jr. in Houston. The young fan was taken to the hospital, and sources told ESPN that the girl's condition was positive. According to the Astros, the family has asked for privacy. Now, the young girl was sitting about 10 feet past where the netting ends down the third baseline at Minute Maid Park. Almora had a tough time finishing the at-bat and was overcome with emotion, talking to a security guard when he went to find out about the fan situation in between innings. Here's Almora after the game.
I'm speechless. I'm at loss of words. Being a father of 2 boys.
And it's probably difficult to know it's not your fault. You didn't direct it that way. But
But it happened. It happened. No.
I don't know what we can do. I mean, let's just put fences up around the whole field. I mean, it's so sad when you see stuff like that happen. And there's a lot of kids coming to the games, young kids want to watch us play. And the ball's coming hard. I mean, the speed of the game is quick. And, I think any safety measure we can take to, make sure that the fans are safe, we should do it.
That was Almora talking to the security guard, overcome with emotion. Baseball insider Jeff Passan joining us now on SportsCenter. You were a part of the ESPN broadcast last night in Houston. What was it like inside Minute Maid Park moments after the young fan was hit by the foul ball?
I was about 25 feet from home plate, Kevin, just right behind in the little well there. And when Albert Almora hit that baseball, it rocketed off of his bat. And the first thing I said to myself was, I really hope that hits a net. And I leaned out and looked around the corner, and when I saw that it hadn't, I hoped at that moment that it just didn't hit someone. This is the worst case scenario for Albert Almora, for Major League Baseball, for everybody involved here, and particularly for the little girl who got hit. Fans were horrified by it. Players knew what had happened. And you know what? The worst part, Kevin, is that this is entirely preventable. This is something that would have been prevented if extended netting down to the foul poles was in place.
Okay, so then by the start of last season, all 30 Major League Baseball teams had expanded their protective netting to at least the far ends of the dugout. So what's keeping the league from having teams extend the netting further here?
It's a really good question, and it's not one that the league answered in its statement today. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, could go to all 30 teams tomorrow and say to them, you need to extend netting down to the foul pole. You need to do a study, just to give yourself some solace in doing this, that you're not going to alienate more fans. But ultimately, this is what needs to be done. And you know what? I think we've made progress in the game. The netting has expanded from just outside of home plate to the dugouts, to the end of the dugouts now. Ultimately, we're going to see it down to the foul poles.
Gotta admit, I went to a minor league baseball game this morning with my 5-year-old. The first thing I did was look around the netting and to make sure we were safe. Jeff Passan reporting on last night's scary situation in Houston. Major League Baseball released a statement on the incident today saying, quote, the events at last night's game were extremely upsetting. We send our best wishes to the child and the family involved. Clubs have significantly expanded netting and their inventory of protected seats in recent years. With last night's event in mind, we will continue our efforts on this important issue.
Coming up here on SportsCenter, where in the world is OBJ? New comment from the Cleveland Browns on why they're really, really missing their new star receiver at off-season workouts. Also, we're going to go inside Kawhi